Welcome, everyone, to Anonymous Addiction Deprogramming Podcast. Please subscribe. And during the video, if you like it, press like. Thanks for joining us. I'm Bobby C. I'll be your host for today. Today, we're going to be deprogramming step 10 of Alcoholics Anonymous. I think there's about 2 million members worldwide. There's a lot of groups. I forget how many, 150,000 groups. And you know, the Bible, the big book Bible, it's called the big book. It's their Bible. It's only 164 pages, though. I don't know, it's a short Bible, that's for sure. And a lot of it is just doctors, you know, Silkworth, Bill Story. But we're going to get into it. We're going to be deprogrammed. It's kind of weird. Could you imagine, why don't you go into a big book meeting and deprogramming while you're in a big book meeting? Let's see how that works out. Or go to a step meeting, because we're gonna read out of the big book and the step book. I'm doing a deprogramming podcast, big book, 12-step book, deprogramming podcast, which is like a deprogramming. Don't call it a meeting, please. Continue to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admit it. It's the tough part. Promptly admit it. And if you go to step 10, that tells you. See, a lot of people don't even know that in the big book, it's there, but it's kind of hidden. But it says right here on page 84 in the middle. This thought brings us to step 10, which suggests we continue to take personal inventory and continue to set right any new mistakes. Because, you know, 8 and 9, we wrote down all the stuff that we did to others, the harm that we've done. And 9, we went to them. See, what they're doing is they're getting you into a practice of working the 12 steps on a psychologically, moment to moment, daily, self-annual and annual process of doing this thing repeatedly over and over again. 10 is continue. So they want you to continue this, which I have no problem in self-analysis. We all know that we need to do that. Well, we all don't know, but I know it. A bunch of us know that self-analysis is part of growth, part of awareness, part of learning new knowledge. I mean, you wouldn't go to school if you weren't seeking some new information, but information about the self, about the understanding of the body, mind, and spirit. I say spirit. Some people just say body and mind. I believe in the spirit. Now, they talk about this here. We have entered the world of the spirit. That's what they start right out here, okay? We have entered this is not an overnight matter. It shall continue for our lifetime. Now, they want you to do this for the rest of your life. That's why you give your will and your life over to the care. And the way you do it is you give your will and your life over to the care of God and let God do it. But if God don't do it, if God ain't answering your stuff, then we're kind of screwed, right? If we don't have a conscious contact and God's not talking to us, we're kind of, damn, what the hell? We're kind of defected, right? Unconstitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves because we don't listen, we don't hear God. Let's see here. We have entered the world of the spirit. Okay, entered the world of the spirit. If there's such a thing as spirit, then we're always in it. I mean, as soon as before we were born, if you want to call consciousness spirit, you want to call awakening awareness, you want to call anything spirit, you could say that spirit's always been there, never hasn't. Okay, the day we're born, and even before birth, you know, consciousness, awareness, spirit is always there. So how are we entering the world of the spirit when we're already here? You know, Watch selfishness. We discuss them with somebody immediately and make amends quickly if we have harmed them. Remember, we talked about harm. What does really harm mean? And harm means, described in the big book or the step book, the result of instincts in collision which cause physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual damage to others. We're always in collision. So we're always harming, I guess, with people, because emotions and instincts, mental, physical, always are causing some friction, something. That's what self-awareness is all about, to figure out the triggers, because we are responsible for our triggers. Okay, we're responsible for our triggers. It says harm. Then here, by this time, sanity will have returned. Okay, by this time. So once you get to the 10th step, you're not insane anymore. Sanity is returned. Okay, which if you only did this, some people go through the steps and once a week, one a week. Let's see, when they crop up, we asked, oh, here we go. When they crop up, we ask God to once remove them. We ask God to remove them. It's always about God and God's doing for us. We recoiled it like a flame. They vanished. In step 6, they talk about how it vanishes. We reckon sanely and normally, we find that this has happened automatically. Okay, so automatically, and if it automatically hasn't happened for you, keep on coming back. It works if you work it. We will see that our new attitude, this is the miracle of it all. Okay, they talk about miracles, they talk about vanishing, they talk about magic, they talk about release from the obsession. They talk about it's been removed. Instead, the problem has been removed. It's removed. Then they go into, it is easy to rest. It is easy to let up on the spiritual program of action and rely on our laurels. We're headed for trouble. We are not cured of alcoholism. It's a cure, right? We are not cured. This is a cure if it's daily maintained, right? That's what they say. Alcoholism, you got this disease of alcoholism, daily reprieve, and it'll be maintained if you do all this work. Work. It works if you work it. Now, every day is a day when we must. Remember they said there's no must in Alcoholics Anonymous? Well, here's a couple, two in 2 sentences. Every day is a day when we must carry the vision of God's will into all our activities. It's all about God. AA, it's all about AA. AA is God. God is AA. There's no separation of it. How can I best serve thee? Thy will, not mine, be done. These are thoughts which must go with us constantly. I mean, that continually, constantly, we always have to pause and ask God for answers in this scenario. If you don't believe that this is a religion, and atheists, agnostics, and free thinkers, and people that aren't spiritual and whatever, if you're attending Alcoholics Anonymous, you're in a religion. I don't care how you cut it, how you rewrite the steps. I don't care how you rewrite the steps, because everyone knows that the steps have been rewritten 100, 500 different times for different programs. 12 is symbolic for heaven on earth, perfectionism, and God. Anytime you see 12, that's a symbol. That's a symbol for it. Must go with us constantly. Thy will. It's always, it's forget my will. Forget me. I'm a servant, trusted servant. of Alcoholics Anonymous. If I don't give it away, I'm going to lose it. Give it away. You got to give it away, right? You give it away if you want to. Make it on your terms. First of all, you have to take yourself. Self-love is what this self-seeking and self-analysis is all about, is to seek love and acceptance of ourselves, understanding of ourselves. They're trying to take the identity from us. Give Alcoholics Anonymous the responsibility. Him who has all knowledge and power. Now, who is him? Much has already been said about receiving strength, inspiration, and direction from him. God, him. Okay, so you women, make sure you get it from him, God, for his knowledge and power. If we have carefully followed directions, we have begun to sense the flow of his spirit into us. It could work, it's called consciousness. It could work this way, it could work that way. It could come in, go out, him, God. I just can't imagine how an atheist or agnostic stays in Alcoholics Anonymous. It just blows my mind. We have begun to develop this vital sixth sense, but we must, here's another one. 3 musts in 5 sentences. 3 musts, but there's no must in Alcoholics Anonymous, remember that. Okay. But if I break it down, that's why I'm deprogramming it. I'm breaking it down, and you'll say, why does this pertain to me, Bobby C? What does this got to do with me? I only go to a couple meetings, 3-4 meetings a month, and I practice. I got a sponsor, and I do this and do that. Eventually, I'll do more, Look, if you're coming out of detox, if your parents are sending you to Alcoholics Anonymous, the court's sending you Alcoholics Anonymous, rehabs, you're doing 1, 2, and 3, or 4 and 5. I don't know how many steps you're doing in your rehab today. It's a 12-step ideology. It's a dogmatic 12-step pyramid monopoly in all the rehabs, which is changing. Stay tuned, because we're going to talk a lot about the new rehabs. I got a friend, Ryan Bernard, over there in South Africa, My Rehab Cafe. He's changing the whole look, to non-12 step, which is a lot of people are doing that, but Ryan is on the ground floor over there in South Africa, really doing it right now, right as we speak. So a shout out to you, my man. Yeah, but we must go farther, and that means more action. Everything's more action. It's like you can't take it easy. It's like your mind will blow up, because you're hearing this over and over and over and over, what you're not doing, what you should be doing, what you could be doing. Why aren't you doing it? Procrastination, laziness, jealousy, greed, fear, anger. Don't dare to be angry. We're going to talk about that from the step book. Don't dare to be angry, ladies and gentlemen. Then it goes in, then it says, step 11 suggests prayer and meditation, which we're going to do next. Okay, we're going to do that next with prayer and meditation. Okay, let's see here. We're going to do that next, 10 and 11. But we're still talking about step 10 right now. But you know what? If you turn the page, and if you continue, excuse me for 1 minute. I'm going to shut this door. But if you continue to turn the page, they don't stop with the 10th step. When we retire at night, we constructively review our day. Were we selfish, resentful, dishonest, afraid? Do we need apology? Were we kind, loving? Could we have done better? Thinking about ourselves most of the time. Don't dare do that. Don't dare think about yourself. Others. Servitude. Servant. But we must be careful not to drift into worry, remorse, or morbid reflection. Always making our review, we ask God's forgiveness and inquire what correction measures should be taken. He doesn't talk to me. I don't know. He talks to everybody else, but being still inexperienced and having just made conscious contact with God, being still inexperienced, man, you guys that are still inexperienced and you're having conscious contact with God, great. That's good. Probably that we are going to we're not going to be inspired by God all the time. So they talk about, meditation. That's going to be the next meditation and prayer. Wait till you see all the prayers. If you don't think Alcoholics Anonymous is a religion, you've never been in a religion. If you don't think Alcoholics Anonymous is a religion, you've probably never been in a religion. Because if you are in a religion, you know it's a religion. I grew up Catholic. I grew up a Roman Catholic. My mother not forced me, but she spoon-fed me, and she made, she did make me go to church, okay? I went to church and did all the rituals. I know what religion looks like, smells like, tastes like, feels like. Alcoholics Anonymous is a religion of drunks and drug addicts, right? Yeah, call them labels, put labels on them, because we're all sinners, right? We may ask for ourselves, however, if others will be helped. Now, here we go. We ask especially from freedom from self-will. God, please take away freedom. Could you imagine this? They're telling me to ask God to take away my freedom of free will. I mean, that's what God, please take away my free will. We asked especially for freedom from self-will, and are careful to make no request for ourselves only. Don't ask God for anything for yourself. That tells Mother Teresa, they want us to be Mother Teresa's. That's what 12 is all about. 12, 12, and 12. It's about perfectionism. They say progress before perfection, progress. Some of these slogans I don't have a problem with. And, some of this, continue to take personal inventory. Yeah, not continually, but I take personal inventory. I have to. I learn. I get different information. I find out what triggers me and where the triggers come from, and pain body and shadow work and all that. I'm with you all with that. I'm on the same page. This takes you in a different whole area to get you to be recruiters. Like I said, I never was a recruiter. I never was a recruiter in Alcoholics Anonymous. I wasn't a big book thumper. I didn't tell people about this big book, even though I read it. I read it and did it, but I wasn't a big book thumper. Okay, I go to step meetings. I went to big book meetings. I went to all different types of meetings, tradition meetings. That's how I could deprogram a lot of this shit, because I know what the hell, where it's coming from. I was at GSR. I went to the GSR meetings. I know what intergroup is. I research it, the pamphlets. I know what the grapevine's all about. I know where the money's made. I know how the money's made, where it goes. Grapevine is nothing. It's all about there's thousands of pamphlets and literature, CDs, and all the recruitments. I did other podcasts explaining all that, how we are like Moonies promoting this thing everywhere. No traction rather than promotion. Don't believe that. Let's see here. Let me go over to the step book. Okay. We discussed them with someone immediately. Then resolutely. Does anybody know what resolutely is? In an admiring, purposeful, determined, unwavering manner. Firm and in purpose. Belief, firmness. Resolutely. we turn our thoughts to someone we can help. Resolutely, we turn our thoughts. That's religion. We turn our thoughts to someone we can help, love, and tolerate is our code. You know why? Because they know the trick. They look. There's tricks. They're not tricks. They're hidden knowledge. It's hidden knowledge. Okay. The occult. The occult means hidden knowledge. Okay. I de-occult the hidden knowledge of life, which Alcoholics Anonymous, Rockefeller, and all the oligarchs from back then that started this whole temperance movement that they created to control the, let's just say, to control the undesirables. That's what St. Jude's all about. If you go to St. Jude retreat or whatever, St. Jude means the patron saint of undesirables. Okay. That's what, look up St. Jude. It's a Roman Catholic. Roman Catholic. So we're going to work out of the step book a little bit. Same thing. Continue to take personal inventory when we're wrong, properly admitted it. But you know, they kind of rewrite this 17 years later because this book wasn't enough. They got to write. They got to write more books and get more detail and get more into your psyche. You know, get more brainwashing and indoctrination and osmosisly, subliminally get into your brain with all the readings and rituals and slogans and readings. You know how many readings there are? More about alcoholism, the promises, how it works. You know, all these readings over and over again. You think that's not going in here? It goes in even if you don't want it. Even if you're not listening, it goes in. That's what subliminal messaging is all about. Could be ceased fighting. There we go. And we have ceased fighting anything or anyone. Traditions are all about controlling the groups. 12 steps are about controlling us, our body, minds, and spirit. It's all a control mechanism to keep you silenced. It's all a control mechanism to keep you silenced. We have ceased fighting everybody. Surrender. You know, when they say surrender to win, there's some logic. There's some practicality, tools, and methods into a lot of these slogans. First of all, they didn't come from Alcoholics Anonymous, so don't take them so serious if I happen to mention. You know, there's nothing wrong with a one day at a time deal, but it's not one day at a time. It's one moment at a time. It's right now. It's only now. Okay. So they didn't coin any of these. The Serenity Prayer didn't come from Alcoholics Anonymous. These prayers didn't come from Alcoholics Anonymous. Okay. They came from religion, but a lot of it's okay. You know, look, but for the grace of God, there go I. That's religious, right? Look at the slogans. This, think, 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 and they turn it upside down because they don't want you to think, think, think. They don't want you to think. Don't think, don't drink, go to meetings. This way we can control everything you're doing. Surrender, don't think, don't drink, go to meetings. What other, you know, some of the slogans that you see they put out? They buy them. Every group buys that stuff from Grapevine. That's where the money's made. The CEO's making about $200,000 a year. He's making roughly $200,000 a year. He's so hooked up with the Catholic religion, it's pathetic. He's the CEO of Alcoholics Anonymous Inc. He controls Grapevine, and there's another, you know, there's different layers. There's so much money to be made in this multi-level marketing pyramid scheme. Like the rest of them, like a lot of other ones, we'll discuss them. By this time, sanity will return. Remember, we were insane, right? Remember, in the 6th step, we asked God to give us release. My obsession to drink vanished. And if your obsession to drink didn't vanish, It's because you didn't look. I know everybody's going to say this thing is serious. If there was a thing called alcoholism, whatever, and you wanted to define somebody, you could define me an alcoholic. I don't care, because I could fit maybe the bill if you see me back then. I just had a problem with alcohol and drugs. Okay. This thing vanishes. If thousands and millions of people do it, that means it can, because you do it. Because you choose it. If it doesn't work, it means you're not ready or you don't want to work it. Here, that's okay. Just be honest. Or you want to do it a easier way or slower way. You want to do it in a transitional way into harm reduction, or take a pill to get off a pill, or to get off a drug, take a drug to get off a drug. There's a bunch of different ways. But if you want to stay on a drug, you want to use the Sinclair method and stay on a drug for the rest of your life to be able to drink and not even get a buzz, and then maybe not take it so you can get drunk. I mean, that's control method. To me, that's too much control shit. You know, moderate. My wife drinks. She don't drink in moderation. She just drinks when she feels like it. Maybe once a month, maybe once a week, maybe every other day she'll have a drink. Who knows? It's not moderation. When we moderate, when we're abstinent, when we're using other things, we're controlling it. Okay. We're responsible, and we're taking control. We're controlling it. Okay, so it's still control. You know, people say you take a drink, you get out of control. Look, if you don't believe alcohol has power, alcohol is powerful. I'm not powerless. And alcohol itself, the product, I'm not powerless over that. Okay, I'm not powerless over drugs. I don't use coke. I don't shoot dope. I don't snort dope. I don't snort heroin once a year like Carl Hart does. You know, I don't. But I probably could. I mean, you know, it's no big deal. I could probably do anything that other people. I choose not to. It's, for me, it's a choice. You know? Look, take a nice big bottle of Jack and take 4 or 5 big swigs of it. If you think alcohol doesn't have some power over your body, mind, and how you act, and if it doesn't have an influence on decision making, you're crazy. Okay? For people to write a big giant book and say that it has no power whatsoever, it's just totally ridiculous. Because take a bottle of Jack and drink it. See how much good decisions you make. You're still making your decisions. Yeah, you're making a decision. You're making an influence. That's why they call it alcohol influence. I'm influenced by the drug or the alcohol. It influences me. Okay. And I used to make some not so great choices with it. Yeah, I chose it. But it has an influence on me. It changes the way I think. Period. So do drugs. Okay. Does that mean I'm a prohibitionist? No, it just means that choices. You've got a choice. Do whatever you feel like doing. There's always a cause and effect and a consequence. Some people believe we don't even have free will. We don't have choices. So believe whatever you want to believe. That doesn't make it true. Just because you believe something doesn't make it true. And what I'm saying might not be true for you, but I believe it today. There's certain things that I know. I don't have to even believe it. I just know it. It's a known. That's truth. It's not something I believe. It's something I know. Okay. And there's some things that are just truth. And that's it. It just is. And that's your decision to find out what is and what isn't. Not mine. There's a lot of shit I'm still learning what truth is. You know. We react sanely and normally. It happens automatically. Yeah. Doesn't happen to you. What is wrong? If that doesn't happen to you automatically and it vanishes, something's wrong with you, right? No, there's not nothing. The only thing wrong is there's nothing wrong. You choose it. You choose it. You know, it's like your choice. Oh, I can't choose that, Bobby. I'm addicted to it. Then if that's the case, then how in the hell do we all stop drinking or drugging? Like, you know, how do we all do that if it's not a decision and not a choice and it's not a desire? How in the hell does that happen? It comes from us. That's how it happens. Why does all the different programs and modalities and all this shit, why do people doing it on their own with no help whatsoever? How does that happen? Because they want to. And a desire means want. They want to do it. They want more. Why do they drink and drug? Because they want to. Okay? Because it's more pleasurable than reality, or it's more pleasurable than responsibility. It's more pleasurable. It's just more pleasurable. You know, people indulge occasionally whenever they feel like it in drugs and alcohol, just when they want to feel a little better, get high or get buzzed or whatever. That's no secret. What we're doing is we're uncovering the occult secret, the hidden secrets, the hidden knowledge of it, what Alcoholics Anonymous is doing to people. That's what we're uncovering. This is a miracle. It says this is a miracle. Why aren't you getting that miracle? Then, you know, then that question would be questioned. Why, you know, you always hear I'm blessed. Why aren't I blessed? Why don't I get a miracle? We're all, let's just say, okay, you want to use the word, you don't believe in miracles, I'll just use it. We're all miracles, we're all blessed. We're all miracles and we're all blessed. Okay. I don't care where you're at, what you're doing, we're all miracles and we're all blessed. So let's get that out of the way. Because you don't want it yet, or you are not ready to change, or you don't want to give it up, there's nothing wrong with you. It's a choice, cause and effect. Mentalism is about the mind. That's what this program is all about. It's about learning about the consciousness, the mind, the subconscious, the unconscious, the shadow work. It's about the mind. It's all mentalism. It's the study of the mind. That's how they get us. That's how they manipulate us. That's how commercials work. That's how the government works. Divide and conquer. It's all about the mind. Separation of the people. Divide and conquer. The same wing of the same bird. Different wing of the same bird. These podcasts are not just about deprogramming AA, because a lot of these other deprogramming podcasts and bashing AA and getting you out of AA and shit like that. Where do you go from there? Because there's a lot more uncovering to do, a lot more. Let's use the recover, which means getting back what you lost, which is lies, getting back the truth. So there's a lot more uncovering and recovering, but there's a lot of discovering new things, new knowledge, discovering the occult, the hidden knowledge. Alcohol is a subtle foe. Instead of the problem has been removed, alcohol is a subtle foe. Daily reprieve. It's always talked about daily reprieve. Cancel or postpone that punishing of someone, especially someone condemned to death. Daily reprieve. Cancel or postpone. Must carry the vision of God. Must again. God has all knowledge and power. If we have carefully followed directions, oh, remember, there's only AA suggestions. There's AA suggestions. Come on. They tell us if we don't do these things, we're going to die. Go to jail or go to institutions, which I worked for many, many years in institutions. We're going to die. So they're just suggestions. You know, the flow of the spirit into us. Sixth sense must again. The step book. Let's go real quick into it because it's repetitive, but it goes deeper. what it goes is deeper into the spot inventory, which is on the spot, how to clear up things, because they're trying to get you into a practice of working towards perfection. So they're getting you into this practice, which you'll never get there. That's why they say progress, not perfection, but they're always working you towards that. But really what they're working you towards is to recruit others for life, so others can give their will and their life over to the care. It's just it's a numbers game. It's a pyramid numbers game. Because they're talking about 1 to 9 prepared us. See, 9th was the practice. It's all the 4th and 5th is the practice. It's a practice of writing, taking personal inventory. You're practicing it, right? Which is, hey, you got to practice things to get good at it. One of my podcasts, I'm going to talk about letting go, the real true meaning of letting go. Letting go mean, people think it means surrender and let everything go and don't do nothing. That don't mean that. I'm going to do a podcast on just letting go, the art of letting go. But getting back to the 12 and 12 here, step 10, page 88. So they say 9th was the preparation, 10, 11th, and 12th, they're talking about maintenance, the maintenance steps. Maintenance. They want you to do this shit every damn day. You know, they're talking about putting AA way of living every day by day, not ours. AA's way of life. We just took your life, so it's not your life anymore. Okay, it's not your life anymore because you gave us your will and your life over to our care. So we're going to show you exactly what to do, and not your way, but AA's way of living. Okay, one day at a time. We're not going to tell you how any tools or any strategies or tools or logical, rational, critical thinking tools, because we don't want you to learn much of anything, because we want you to keep on coming back. I used to run the meetings. I don't know. I used to run it because I didn't know how to deal with shit, especially with my wife, me and my wife. You know, I didn't know how to deal. I used to run to a meeting. You know, I used to do crazy shit and then run to a meeting and say, oh, you know, listen and act like I'm so good, right? And then come back, I feel so serene and so peaceful. And then I do the shit again and hear the shit again, get triggered again. How do you deal with this stuff? Oh, just run to a meeting. How do you ask God? Just go in and ask God. Well, just go in and ask God. Give it over. Give it surrender. And then you get your buttons pushed again, the triggers pushed again, your pain body get pushed again. You didn't know nothing about the power now or the present moment. You didn't know anything about anything. And you're running to a meeting like I did. Well, not everybody, but this is how sick I was. I get sick, I say sick. But this is how I didn't have the tools and strategies to deal with situations. Today I do. Okay, today I know how to deal with a lot of different things. You know, when they talk about intuitively know how to handle situations you used to battle with, yeah, you don't get that from that Alcoholics Anonymous. You know, intuitive is a real deal. Okay, so they got this thing. We alcoholics had to learn the hard way. More experienced people, of course, in all times and places have practices on serving self-survey and criticism. Yes, I agree with you. For the wise have always known that no one can make much of his life until self-seeking becomes a regular habit. It doesn't have to become a regular habit, but in a sense, it does, because every moment is every moment. So you're out in the world, you go out in the situation, you go to a store. I'll get triggered everywhere I fucking go. I go out in the store and get triggered. I look at something, I get pushed. I get triggered. The anger comes out, the meanness comes out, the greedy comes out, the jealousy comes out, the not so good person comes out. I mean, not in bad crazy ways, but okay. I got to check myself. You know, when I'm riding down the road, the traffic, I know how to deal with it though. I know how to deal with it. I know how to like that if I want to. You know, sometimes it takes a little longer, especially with the person that has the most past with. And my wife, we've been married 50 years, and I started going out with her in 9th grade. So that's That's the most passed with any other human being, right? So I'm still checking it out. I'm still working on that shit, man, because hey, I'm old. I don't want to be, I want to be able to be relaxed and enjoy, have some serenity and peace. So let's see, desire, it says desire right here, a continuous look at our assets and liabilities and a real desire to, they say desire because that's all it takes, a desire, wanting. I want to learn and grow by this means. That's what it's saying. That's why they know it's the only requirement, because it's got to come from me. I want to do this. Well, if you want to do it, stay in it and do whatever you want to do. Just check out and make sure and just see if it's hindering your growth, if it's harming you in any way, psychologically, emotionally, physically, mentally. Is it harming you and you want more? Get more. Go outside of the trial and get more. If you want to come back, come back. My last podcast I just did was about me leaving Alcoholics Anonymous, how, when, and why. I just share some of, it's all over the place, but I just share some of my experiences. How, why, when, why, how. It doesn't matter which way it goes, but share some experience. I've been in, look, I was in this damn thing for over 30 years. So, and I was so fortunate that I could go outside and stay there because I believed I was helping some people, not programming them. I was helping people deprogram inside, and you could do that too. You can help people deprogram. Emotional hangovers. They talk about, look, drinking or not drinking. That's because this whole book is about human nature. It's about human beings. It's not about drinkers or druggers, alcoholics or addicts. It's not about that. Forget these words, these labels, alcoholic, addict, once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic, once an addict, always an addict. Forget that. That's bull BS. It's not real. They just want you to constantly say that to yourself. And only an alcoholic can help another alcoholic. First of all, we're not dealing with alcohol or drugs. Throw that out. Once you stop drinking, they're gone, or drugging. And if you're in harm reduction or you're working the other way, forget that once an alcoholic, always an addict. Forget that, because what you're doing now is you're trying to learn new ways. You're seeking more knowledge. Even if you're doing the Sinclair method, you're trying to do something. It must be harmful in your life. Then why in the hell would you do that? Let's see here, drinking or not drinking. This is all about human beings all around the earth. That's all they're talking about. They want us to be unique. We're not unique. Don't believe you're oh, I'm an alcoholic, I'm an addict. You're a human being being human with the conscious awareness to learn how to deal with situations. And if you want to get off of alcohol or drugs, you can. There's no question. It's going to come from you. It's going to come from you, no matter how you cut it, where you go. You can't get away from yourself. You just can't, because it comes from you. Once you discover that, that's the power. That's the power and freedom of this whole deal. Now we go into the different types of inventories. There's the spot check inventory. Take it at any time of the day, whenever you find ourselves getting tangled up. Which, oh God. I mean, like Johnny Depp's in the courthouse, he's tangled up. We're all tangled up. Look around you. I don't care who you are, what you are. You get tangled up in shit. You know what I mean? You create chaos sometimes. Life is really simple, but we love to complicate shit, and we get tangled up. Because sometimes we don't have the tools and the strategies and the hidden knowledge about this thing up here. The hidden knowledge about how to deal with it. The hidden knowledge. So we seek gurus, leaders, motivational speakers. We seek more. We seek more. It could be, if you want to use the word, addiction of more. It's not the getting that it's the more. Because once we get it, we're not satisfied. I mean, how long does it take to be satisfied with a brand new car? I mean, after the smell and after a couple of years, you'd look at everybody else's shit and you'd like to have it. It's not the getting in the getting, it's the wanting. It's in the wanting. How much do you want to grow consciously and become aware of the occult hidden knowledge? That's what you should be asking yourself. No, but we're detracted against material junk, even the cars, Tesla's cars and batteries and shit. It's really, I just talked to a friend of mine and I think it's just junk. Material shit is just junk. Space rockets going up in space and junking up the skies and the universe. It's really just junk. It's material crap. Okay, we're going to get somewhere. I don't know. We're going to, Elon Musk is going to get us to the moon. So who's going to be able to go there? They're going to leave this Earth because it's so screwed up. They're going to destroy the Earth and so go destroy Mars too. Whatever. Does it really matter? All the junk. I believe this is what matters. Do I believe in a purpose? Yeah. Have a desire. Have a purpose. Make a change. But I look at the person, like I just listened to one of the guru leaders, and he was talking about on Earth Day about planting trees and how important trees are to the earth and the soil. I mean, if you love Mother Earth and you love the soil, plant some gardens, some trees, and talk about repurposing the soil and stuff like, simple stuff like that's not simple, but giving water to poor people. How in the hell can we live in a damn world where there's people starving on the earth? I can't understand that, but we're trying to go to Mars. Yeah. I guess we're getting there. Maybe we'll never get there, but and what the hell am I doing? I'm not doing much either. So let's get back to the step book. Sorry, okay. So you got the spot inventory, taking every moment. Spot inventory, taken at any place, anytime, whenever we find ourselves tangled up. There's the one we take at day's end. Hey, don't just take it during the day. At the day's end, before you go to sleep, when we review the happenings of the hours just passed, make sure they get into deeper about that. Don't forget to do that. Here we can cast up a balance sheet, credit ourselves, well done, because a lot of people, I know a few people, people in Alcoholics Anonymous, who are, a couple of them are friends, that they do that. They take the inventory at night, and they're great people. I believe they would have been great anyhow, because that's their makeup. They would have been beautiful, nice people. There's the one they take up at that time, click. Then there's the one occasional, when alone or in the company of our sponsor or spiritual advisor, not ourselves though. You can't do it alone. You can't figure shit out. We make a careful review of our progress since the last time. Many AAs go in for an annual or semi-annual house cleaning, an occasional retreat, which I do a whole podcast on the retreat. Matt Talbot retreat, Catholic religion retreat. I know because I was a Catholic and I know Matt Talbot. I know about Matt Talbot. He's the patron saint of alcohol, because what he did, they made him a saint because he stopped drinking and started helping some people, and he's a saint. That means everybody in Alcoholics Anonymous is a big book thumper. It's a big book thumper and helping everybody else. What they're following is Matt Talbot. See, because Alcoholics Anonymous, all the members go to Matt Talbot retreat, and they're the ones, when you go to Matt Talbot retreat, you get a coin, the Matt Talbot coin, and that's how he becomes a saint, because it's like a warehouse for the canonization of the saint of Matt Talbot. They're connected, they're the same. It's no different. You don't know about the Catholic Church, the second biggest or first biggest landowner in the world. The Queen is the first, and the Catholic religion is the second biggest landowner in the world. Google it, check it out. And I'm not mad. You see me angry? I'm not angry at this shit because I know the veils have been lifted. I know this stuff. I'm not angry about it. I use it to my benefit. I use it to my benefit and to maybe help other people. Maybe I'm hurting. I don't know. Some people say, Bobby, you're hurting. I just had somebody comment on one of my podcasts and say, he hates to see that what I'm doing could harm somebody because they may listen to my podcast and they may go drink and die. I'm here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that I don't have that power. I cannot make somebody drink and I cannot cure somebody. I'm not going to cure you or make you drink. That's your responsibility. Alcoholics Anonymous and some of the people in Alcoholics Anonymous want to think that I'm doing that. I'm not that powerful. You can blame me. I don't give a shit because we blame people all the time. We blame the steps. I didn't do the steps. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. I didn't. Instead of looking at ourselves and saying, I chose to do this. It wasn't a choice. They have an addiction. They have a disease. It wasn't a choice. Then how in the hell did they get off of the shit? You actually believe that all these other methods are miracles? Okay, now, so after that, so that Matt Talbot retreat, there's three. There's a spot at the end of the day before you go to bed. And then they want you to even get up when you wake up. Make sure when you wake up, because it says when we retire at night, and then when we wake up, we want to, check it out too. Make sure we're on the right path before we wake up. Self-appraisal. They use the word. I like acquiring the habit of accurate self-appraisal. Nothing wrong with that. You know what? Step 10, when I was in there, step 10 was, I liked step 10 because it told me to check myself out. You know what I mean? I didn't mind step 10. 1 to 12, I mean, I don't like steps. I don't like codifiling. I don't like people to codifile things and think this is the way I'm going to lead you to the. I don't want people to lead me to anywhere because there's no such thing as codifying of anything to get you anywhere. Okay. Let's see. It is a spiritual axiom that every time we are disturbed, no matter what the cause, there is something wrong with us. We are in the wrong. Something wrong with us. If nobody hurts us, here we go. For us, this is on page 90 in the step book. Listen to this. Ugh. Can't we properly be angry with self-righteous folk? For us of AA, these are dangerous. Anger is dangerous. We have found that justified anger ought to be left to those better qualified to handle it. You can't handle anger. Don't get angry. You can't handle it. The burst of temper could spoil a whole day, which is true. I mean, there's truth to that. I mean, but it allows me to see shit when I get angry and I react to somebody and see what I've done to them, and then I feel it. It's a feeling, I feel that. And then when if I have to apologize, sometimes I'll apologize. And doesn't it feel good to be apologized? Doesn't it feel good when somebody says, you know what, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. Doesn't that feel good? I mean, is that something? I mean, I think that's an inbred thing we're born with. Doesn't that feel good when somebody says, you know what, I'm sorry, hon, I didn't mean that. That was stupid shit. Feels good. Nothing wrong with that. But every time we are disturbed, is something we did wrong. Predators, this is crazy, right? We have found that justified anger ought to be left alone to other people. Here we go. As we saw it, our wrath was always justified anger, that occasionally luxury of more balanced people. We're not balanced. more well-balanced people. We're not well-balanced. These emotional dry benders often lead straight to the bottom. Dry benders, they call them dry drunks. Dry drunk. I used to say, I'd rather have a dry drunk any day, okay, than be all fucked up and not know where I'm going for 3 days. What's a dry drunk? If people have, you want to call it dry drunk, emotionally disturbed or whatever, every human being has them once in a while. Dry drunk. They always got to use drunk. The spot inventory. Then they get deeper into the spot inventory. They really get into it. There's like 3 pages. 4 pages, they get into it. You know, restraint of tongue and pen. This was written when the internet wasn't there. So, you know, they didn't talk about texting, pressing a button text. Oh shit, I text that. Oh God. Don't you know that all them texts and all them messages and all that shit that you're putting out on social media, anybody can get it anytime? Please, you know, you put all this stuff out for your kids, with your kids, and showing everybody where you live and what's your routine and where you go. And there's some bad people out there, ladies and gentlemen, and there's bad people out there. So be careful of some of that shit. I don't publicize. First of all, my wife, she ain't gonna let me take pictures of her and get on these posts and shit like that. And I'm not going to do it with my children either. If they want to come on and do a podcast with me, which some of my grandchildren said they would like to, yeah, I'm grateful for that. But I'm not telling their shit either. See, I believe in confidentiality, you know, especially with my family. I don't talk about my family's stuff, you know. I'll talk about my stuff, but it's not about the stuff. It's about the occulting, hidden knowledge. It's about knowledge, learning how to do things. You know. Anger. You know, we talk about the anger. The quick inventory is aimed at the daily ups and downs, like every human being has, especially those people who are new, and new events throw them off and tempt us into making mistakes. Oh, don't make a mistake. You might not learn from it. You know, people that never made any mistakes, what the hell, what are they doing? I made a couple good ones, man. Last, you know, when 2008 hit, what are you going to do? It wasn't even a mistake. It hit millions and millions of people. So I beat myself up way back then for that, but I let that go. Shit on that. Here we go. We shall look for progress, not for perfection. That's where that came from on page 91 in the step book. We look for progress, not perfection. A lot of people say that's bullshit too, because then we can get out of everything. I'm trying to do, you know, you go back in a meeting and you cry. You know, they do some crazy ass shit, you know, is off the wall, and they tell us stuff in there. They do a 4th and 5th step right in the meetings and shit that if the FBI or police were in there or somebody else was in there, they'd probably lock them up. You know, don't do that. Okay, don't do that. Don't open your mouth and be so trustworthy of the people, because there's a lot of predators in there. Okay, they're just waiting for you to tell them clues, because they know how to use the vulnerable people when they want to make them into, you know, they victim. They're the victim. They're the vulnerable. They see the weakness. They see the weak, especially with the women, with the 13-step deal. They'll see them. Me personally, look, I didn't hang in clubs. I didn't like to hang in clubs. I try to pick out halfway decent meetings that had good people. I know 13-step was rampant in a lot of different meetings. Me personally, if I seen somebody doing towards that, I'd go up to the lady or gentleman. I'd sit and just spend 1 minute. I'd say, be careful. And then I'd go to the guy and say, what are you doing? You know, what are you doing? Leave her alone or leave him alone. I'd be a kind of a, you know, like a back east protector in a sense. And, but yes, it goes on. It goes on. But I wasn't attracted. I was more attracted to, I guess, more laid back meetings. I don't know. Clubhouses are full with, look, we're all idiots, but I'll say they're attracted to a lot of idiots, a lot of people that are coming from jails, institutions. There's nothing wrong with double trouble meetings. I hung with a person that was in double trouble. Paul, hey Paul, what's happening over there in Jersey? If you still ever listen to this, which you probably will never do, but he was, you know, he was dual diagnosed, and he used to go. I used to pick him up and take him to meetings and stuff like that. Look, I'm not talking about knuckleheads. I'm talking about scumbags. I'm talking about people that come in there and use other people and rob. I've seen so much, believe me, because I'm from, look, I'm from Jersey. I've seen so much and listened to so much and heard so much. I mean, I've been to clubs and I heard, but I've hung with people inside and outside the meetings. So I'm kind of streetwise, not kind of, I'm streetwise. And today I'm bullshit wise, okay? Because the veil, like I said, has been lifted. So I can see through a lot of bullshit, even though people can bullshit me still. I think my wife's better than me. Restraint and tongue and pen. When we are tempered with bait, we shall train ourselves to step back and think. How are we getting training? We're giving everything over to God. Who in the hell's giving us the training? Our first job is to sidestep the traps. Well, in all these books, I'm looking for where is the knowledge to tell me how to do it. Okay. Disagreeable or unexpected problems are not the only ones that call for self-control. Today, and then they get into, here we go again, as insurance against big shotism, we can often, there's no big shotism in Alcoholics Anonymous. Yeah, no big shotism. The old timer sits in the back, he's silent. Some of them, they don't say shit. What the hell are they even going to meetings? To keep sober? I had somebody tell me if I stop going to meetings, I'll go insane. I said, well, what's going to happen to me when I stop going to meetings? He said, yeah, you go insane. Maybe going insane is the good thing, because maybe this is a insane world, and going insane, you kind of understand it. I don't know. But that's crazy. Today, here we go. We can often check ourselves by remembering that we are today sober only by the grace of God, and that any success we may be having is far more His, AA, your sponsor, your guru, whatever, than ours. That goes with the gurus too, that goes with the Anthony Robbins. I don't care. I sent out for tapes 37 years ago for Anthony Robbins. I mean, he's cool. He motivates the shit out of people. You know what I mean? He gets it. The law of attraction. It's all hypnosis. All that stuff is hypnotic state, putting you in a hypnotic state. It's all about hypnosis, and it's all about NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. I mean, he was a wizard at that. He got into it so many years ago. He knows how to, do you hear him snap it? When they snap their fingers and they touch it, touch it, boop, 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 boop. Watch him. NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. Hypnosis is real, man. It's real. Subliminal messaging is real. And hey, I ain't knocking them. I like these people. They're human beings. I like them. I mean, I like Elon Musk. I like all these people. I like, as a human being, he ain't doing nothing wrong to me. Do no harm. He ain't doing no harm to me. But he may be doing harm to the world. Okay, so I should have a say in that, I guess. I think I should. I think I do have a say in what another human being is doing to the world. So let's get back. It will become more and more evident as we go further that it is pointless to become angry or to get hurt by people who are still suffering, like us, are suffering the pains of growing up. Yeah. Courtesy, kindness, justice, and love is the keynote. And remember, not my will, thy will be done. Not my will. And we often ask ourselves, am I doing to others as I would have them do to me? Even when that prideful, anger, jealousy, anxiety, fearful, we act accordingly, and resolve with God's help to carry these messages over until tomorrow, making, of course, any amends. What amends? Confession, act of contrition. Okay. We constructively, that's about it. That's about it. Making amends. I look at it like this. Living amends means just trying to live a halfway decent, good life. And me personally, I like to expand and try to live even a better life. You know, I mean, I don't work on it every day or anything like that. Far from it. You know, I look at people, they're achieving shit that far beyond my capacity. And you know, today I'm finding out stuff that look, I could have been this, I could have been that. Could you been? Yeah, I could have, because I know I can. I know I can do whatever I want to do. It's what do I want to? It's not can I. Whatever the mind can conceive and achieve, you can, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, you can achieve. I understand that. I know that. Do I want to? Did I want to? No. Did I want to take the path and keep on going and achieving? Because everything you really put your mind to, you achieve. But is that it? Is it, or is it just the process of it? Is it like the doing of it, the purpose of it? Is the achievement at the end anything? Really, does it get you anything, anywhere? What's it get you to an end? And then what? I mean, it gets you to an end, then what? More. The wanting of more. I think that's the end of step 10. Next podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. And you know what? Check us out on Anonymous Addiction, My Truth About AA, which I'm going to be changing the name of that, My Truth About Life. Okay. And it's going to be Anonymous Addiction. And I'm not going to tell you what the other name is, but I'm going to change it. And so don't forget to check us out on that private group, Anonymous Addiction, My Truth About AA, as Bobby sees a private group. Check me out on Instagram, My Truth About AA. Check me out on Twitter, My Truth About AA. Twitter, if Elon Musk, I kind of hope he does, but of course, I think Twitter sucks. I don't know. I think it's lame. I don't like Twitter. And all these other platforms, BitChute and all these other different programs and all, I might get on them, try them, because I'm not censored yet. They'll get me sooner or later once I start talking about some other shit. But right now, they're leaving me alone. And they'll get me sooner or later, but I'll be prepared. I'm going to check out everybody later on. Peace be with you, and take care, everybody. I'll see you later. We'll be on step 11, deprogramming step 11 next. Bye, everyone.